Hey, what is going on, guys? It is Young here, and today I'm back on our Fortnite video, and in today's video, I'm going to give you guys some of my best tips when it comes to winning here in Season 9. I'm going to be talking about everything that you guys need to know and the best way to go about approaching gunfights in order to win every single game here for Season 9. And before we get into the video, if you guys could, make sure you guys do drop a like on this video. It really does help me out. So make sure you guys drop a like, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and as well turn on my notifications so you guys can get notified for every single new video. And alright guys, let's get right to the video. Alright, so I want to be talking about a few different things in this video, and I'm going to be talking about one of the best ways I think it's going to be the most important way to win a lot more games more consistently, and just overall give my #1 tip for winning games. And for the gameplay in the background, I went off this game. I ended up dropping 18 kills and had a pretty crazy clip halfway through the game where I killed about 5 people in like 15 seconds. I absolutely went off. It was a very good game. But with that being said, probably one of my #1 tips that I can give you, and there's a few different ways to approach this, but my #1 tip is going to be able to learn how to kill players quicker in this game. And so there's a lot of different ways you can go about this, but you want to be able to kill people as quick as possible, and that's going to be the best way, and it's going to allow you to kill the most amount of people very quickly, and as well win a lot more games, because as you guys know, I've said this a ton on my channel, the more or the longer you drag out your gunfights, the more chance you have of dying, losing your materials, losing shield, and everything of the above. And that's one of the things I really stressed when they took out Siphon out of the game, no HP and mats per kill, is learning how to kill other players faster, and especially for the reason of shield, because I've had so many gunfights where I go into a gunfight with another player and say they have shield, say I don't have any shield, and I drag out the gunfight for like a solid minute, and they end up popping like 6 minis, 2 big shields, and by the end of the fight I have no shield whatsoever. I killed the player, I have no shield, they didn't drop any shield, and if I would have killed him much quicker in that gunfight, I would have been able to pick up a few minis from them, pick up a big pot or so, because a lot of times if you drag with the gunfights for too long, by the end of the fight they're not going to have any shield left over. So that is going to be a big reason in why you'd want to kill players a lot faster and learn how to do so. And also another reason along with shield is going to be the factor of having no materials. Because materials are a big part of Fortnite, and if you want to be able to win, you're going to have to find a way to have materials throughout the entire game. Really the hardest part to find materials is in the early game and possibly mid game. By the time you get into the late game, you're going to kill a player who has max wood, max brick, and by that time you're going to have a ton of mats. And that's exactly what happened in this gameplay. I ended up having a ton of mats in the end game just because I ran through so many people. I was able to stack my mats. So in the late game you really don't have to worry about it too much, but in the early to mid game that's where you're gonna have to worry about materials the most. And if you're not winning your gunfights very quickly, you're going to have no materials, because after the fight, you guys are going to be build fighting, whatever the case may be, and you're going to be building a ton, burning through all your materials, so as soon as the fight ends, there's going to be no materials left over. So that's going to be a main reason in which you want to end the gunfight quickly. So there's a lot of reasons, even more so, third parties, things like that, because a lot of people get third party in this game, they drag out the gunfight for too long, other people hear gunfire, and then they run over and then try to join the fight. So there's a lot of reasons in which you'd want to try to end the gunfight as quick as possible. I know it sounds kind of obvious to, clearly end the gunfight as quick as possible, but it really isn't taken into account a lot of times in game. I see people, they try to fight the other player, but I feel like they do too much, go for too many edit plays, this and that, and they're really not trying to, or really not going for the fastest way possible when it comes to winning the gunfight against the other player, and overall just doing the most amount of damage in the quickest amount of time. And here's the part of the gameplay that I was talking about earlier, where I ended up running through about 5 players right in this short amount of time. So I was gliding over, I heard gunfire, so I immediately went over and tried to get in the third party on this fight. So the first thing you do is I land here, I see this kid popping shield, knock him, see another guy down here, I'm not sure exactly why he wasn't building, kill him, kill the third guy, right here fighting the fourth guy, hit every shot, and then I finish off the 5th guy right there. So I was just ripping through the players, and as you guys can see, I'm pretty much maxed out on my wood. I have a ton of brick, a ton of steel. I didn't really quite max out, but when I go back down, I'm going to have max materials. I was trying to see if anybody else was alive, but everyone else is dead, and I absolutely wiped out the entire squad. There's a ton of loot, pretty much everything I can need, minis, chug jug, gliders, every single gun that I could want. So here I got really stacked in the game, and this is the point in the game where you run into that one player, and you're completely stacked for the rest of the game. I got really stacked on my ammo, got really stacked on my mats, gliders, minis. I'm pretty much full HP and everything. And one gun that in particular that I started using a little bit more is I started using the combat shotgun a little bit more, because it did make it a lot more consistent. So I am consistently hitting for 70 plus damage if I am hitting the body shot with full pellets, because the reticle on the pump is very low, or the combat shotgun, whatever you guys want to call it. It is pretty low, so if you hit your shot right on point blank, right on target, 9 times out of 10, you're going to be hitting for 70 damage. This can be used to your advantage and also be very, very strong to use. So when it comes to gunfights, there is different situations in which you'd want to use different weapons. Because even in close range situations, I'm not always going to be using a combat shotgun. I'm not always going to be using an SMG, always going to be using a drum gun. There is going to be some certain situations in which I'd want to use each. Of course, long range, you're going to be using an assault rifle. That's kind of obvious. The new SMG they added can be debatable. It's really good at mid range, as you guys already know. And my favorite place to use either the drum gun or the SMG is going to be close range, but only point blank. And the reason point blank, because the shotgun, like I said, it only does 70 damage. So if you're close range to another player, using an SMG or a drum gun is going to allow you to do a lot more damage a lot quicker than using a shotgun. So if you're ever point blank to another player, they're right in front of your face, I'd always recommend switching to your drum gun or SMG. I probably wouldn't pick out your combat shotgun, and the reason being, like I said, it's not going to deal enough damage quick enough. And the combat shotgun is really good from the not mid-range, but it's kind of the short mid-range, if you guys know exactly what I'm talking about. So it's going to be in the distance between medium and also point blank. So as you guys can get a picture of what I'm talking about, that's going to be the perfect situation in which you'd want to use the combat shotgun. Otherwise, if you're point blank, I'd recommend using a drum gun or SMG. Or mid-range, I'd recommend using an AR or the new SMG that they added. And another reason why you'd want to use a drum gun or SMG point blank as opposed to using a shotgun is it's going to be doing structure damage. So if the other player tries to outbuild you by placing ramps, or if the other player goes for a trap kill, it's not going to matter, because if you have an SMG or a drum gun, preferably the drum gun because it has 50 rounds in the mag, you use that gun, and it's going to be very difficult if you already have your gun out, they place a trap, it's going to be very easy to shoot it out, unless of course they're building out of steel, or if it's already built structure, that could be a little bit more difficult. Most of the time, if you're WKing the other player, point blank, really rushing at them, the structure that they're placing isn't going to have enough HP, so you're going to be able to rip through it pretty quickly, and they're not going to be able to do too much about it. So if you're in someone's box and they place traps, it's going to be very easy to destroy, or you could just walk to the other side, depending on how far the trap is. And that's why I always say don't worry about people going for trap kills on you. Sometimes they can get you if they place like 3 or 4 traps within a second, and that can be very difficult, but as long as you're close to the edge, a lot of times you can get out of it. But with that being said, if you do have another teammate there and you're going for a hard push on a player, it's going to be very easy to do so, because even if they place traps or make any sort of play at all, you do have another teammate shooting from a different direction, which is going to make it 10 times as hard for the other player to do anything about it, especially because the new combat shotgun, if you hit a headshot, it's only going to do 130 damage, so it's not going to hit you for 200 and one pump you, so you don't have to really worry about that. So you are able to push a lot more aggressive if you wanted to and take a little bit less consequence. You're not going to be taking as much damage. So if you have another teammate there with you, they're spraying at the exact same player, it's going to be very easy to kill that player very quickly. And the next guy I'm about to pick up, I'm going to use this guy focusing on my teammate to the complete advantage. So this player was looking for my teammate, which is going to allow me to get the easy knock, and then my teammate ended up getting knocked on the other side. So I'm going to go for high ground, I'm going to take that advantage. And pretty much the exact same thing that happened just a second ago is going to happen again. This player is going to get completely focused on my teammate, which is going to allow me to get a very easy kill and pick up that guy. So I was using the combat shotgun. It probably wasn't the best option because this gun did absolutely no damage. But this player unexpectedly breaks in, but I still have my traps out, and I was able to get the quick elimination on this player. So that was the 3 people that I killed there, and I'm going to be able to pick up 2 more people at the end of this game. And one thing that I'm going to do on the last 2 players is as soon as I go for high ground, that's when I'm going to make my push, and that's exactly what I'd recommend doing for you guys as well. And also another good thing you can use in your loadout is using the heavy sniper rifle. That can be very useful for breaking any structure, because the heavy sniper does break any structure, which is going to allow you, someone sitting in a box, you can come from the other side unexpectedly, break inside their box immediately, and then go for a drum gun or SMG spray and do a lot of damage very, very quick. So that's also another very good way in order to kill players a lot quicker in this game. So when I'm going into the last fight, one thing that, like I said, that I did is I got high ground. As soon as I got high ground, that's when I went for a push. I didn't go for like a double edit or anything like that. You don't want to give up your high ground. You kind of want to get on the same story as them, but you want to get in a way, even if they try to shoot at you back, you're still going to have high ground after it. So that's what I'm doing right here. I'm pushing up for high ground as much as I can, and I did end up getting high ground right here. I'm building up, and I see a player right below me, and I'm going to make the edit play down, hit the player for 98, then I'm immediately try to jump up, match where the player is, and finish him very quickly with my drum gun. I didn't try to build up for high ground again. The second the guy was on the same story as me, that's when I wanted to go for the push, because I knew that I wanted to end the gunfight very quickly. And this player, I don't know exactly what he was trying to do. He ended up killing himself right there. And with that being said, that's wrap up for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hope you guys liked it. And if you guys could, drop a like in this video. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Turn on my notifications to be notified for every single new video. And alright guys, I'll see you next video.